Howdy Space Rangers, Captain Phoenix here, and today we are doing an interesting video. It's a similar format to what you're used to, but a new topic in general, and that topic is none other than Ben 10. Now, this may be news to some of you, but I was actually a big Ben 10 fan growing up. I was so obsessed with the show that I would play pretend out in the yard with my brother, coming up with alien combos to outdo each other in like fights, in our imaginary fights. If you ask my parents, they would tell you that Ben 10 and Avatar were the two shows that made them worry about my mental health. So, Phoenix, you might be wondering, why do you never talk about this show on your channel then? You've talked about Avatar quite a bit, and you can't go a full calendar month without mentioning Ninjago. Well, there are two reasons for that. The first is that the main Ben 10 continuity ended over 10 years ago. Everything that is there to be said about the franchise has already been said. And in case you guys haven't noticed, I like to cover ongoing series, which shouldn't be surprising if you know how YouTube works. The other is that I haven't religiously watched Ben 10 in a while. I've watched some episodes here and there, but I never sat down to do a full rewatch of the series. In fact, I don't rewatch any series I've seen before. So, why am I making this video? Well, turns out that this year will be the 20th anniversary of Ben 10. That's right, on December 27th, 2005, Cartoon Network graced us with one of the best non-Marvel/DC superheroes ever. And the rest became history. Now, I wouldn't be here making this video if it weren't for my good internet friend, Slayer Brother. He's a fellow YouTuber who makes Tales of Arcadia edits and AMVs that I highly recommend you check out. He's also working on a Ben 10 AMV for the 20th anniversary, so subscribe to him to stay tuned. Anyway, as he was making the AMV, he asked me if I was doing anything for the 20th anniversary. I told him no, as I wasn't planning on rewatching all of Ben 10. To compromise, he asked if I would be interested in rewatching the movies, and I said, and so here we are. Today, I'll be ranking every Ben 10 movie made and released by Cartoon Network. Just a quick rule before we jump in, I am not counting any episodes or big TV events, only the content that's officially labeled as a movie by Cartoon Network, so sorry to all my Heroes United fans. Without further ado, let's jump in. Kicking off the list at number 5, we have Ben 10 Alien Swarm. This is a movie that takes place during the Alien Force era, but before Ultimate Alien. And yeah, this one ain't good. I struggle to think of good things to say about it. So let's just start off with the stuff that I do have to say about it. Then we can move into the less known stuff. For one, the alien designs are ugly. I think this goes without saying. This movie just has some of the most garbage CG alien designs. And it just goes to show that not everything should be live action. Like, not everything animated should be live action, especially if that thing is being made with a TV budget, because you know you're working with $10, a shoelace, and a dream at that point. It's even worse off that this is a Ben 10 product, because Ben only transforms a total of 3 times. Count them, only 3. He turns into Big Chill at the beginning of the movie, Humongousaurus somewhere in the middle, and yeah, he doesn't look great, and Nanomech at the end. That's it. That's all the transformations we're getting for Ben. Like, absolutely ridiculous. At that point, why even make it live action? Why even make it a Ben 10 movie of all things? Oh well, I will say, actually, speaking on the Nanomech thing, I did like the Nanomech fight with the Queen. I actually did like the transformation, it was a bit funny, and I did like Ben flying up the guy's nose to fight the Queen in the brain. I think that was a pretty creative and inventive climax, especially for a Ben 10 story. However, back to the things I don't like, I absolutely do not like Grandpa Max. I am not a fan of what they did to him in the slightest. This is not how Max acts. Even though I haven't watched the series in a while, I can safely say he's out of character. He's way too dismissive of other people who need his help. He is straight up antagonistic to a guy who's basically the victim of the movie. Yeah, he's a villain. He's someone who's possessed by the villain. But like, he actually genuinely started off with good intentions and tried to warn Max about the danger. Max just didn't listen to him. And I can't say I love his actor. And I honestly don't know why they didn't get the actor from the other movie. For those who don't know, Alien Storm is kind of a pseudo-sequel to Race Against Time, another live-action Ben 10 movie. And Race Against Time only came out 2 years before Alien Storm. Why couldn't they get the guy who played Grandpa Max in that movie in this movie? He acts way more like Grandpa Max, but I'll talk about him when we get there. I also didn't care about the relationship between Ben and Elena too much. I mean, I will say it's interesting for both their characters, and it does develop in the animated show in Ultimate as we do go into Ultimate storyline. But here it's just kind of whatever. If there's one thing I actually really did like about the relationship, it's that we get to see a lot of Ben's character. For as much as they say they basically assassinated Grandpa Max's character, Ben's character actually really shines through here. He's willing to hear somebody who's in need out. He's willing to listen to their problems, and he's willing to try everything he can to help them. Yes, it is for a girl he likes, so there's obviously some bias there, but again, it wouldn't be Ben without that bias. So I do like he's actually trying to help Elena out, and he's not trying to leave her in the dust, especially since the two of them were kids and he had the question when they're young. It does feel a bit weird that Ben and Elena are so close in this movie, especially since Ben already has a girlfriend in the series. Like, I can't remember if he and Julie were dating at this point in time, but if they were, it's very weird how attached Ben is to this other chick. With that said, they still get Ben right. He's still trying to be a hero, and he's still trying to do the right thing. The only thing I wish they actually did carry over from the show was a bit of his arrogance, because Ben is a very arrogant character, and here he's more or less very altruistic. So, you know, you take some, you lose some. Ben is not the most consistent character to write, so I can't fault it for that. Gwen and Kevin are actually pretty alright. I don't have any major issues with them. I do like the relationship. I do think they're a bit cute. And yeah, you thought the aliens were bad? Kevin is so much worse. They don't utilize Kevin's powers at all. There's like 2 scenes where he absorbs things, and he's in his absorbed form for like 5 seconds total before they have to remove the effects, because again, the effects budget for this movie is somehow even lower than my bank account, and my bank account has 4 cents in it. That's not even touching like how ugly this movie is. Like, take out the CG aliens, this is just not a very pretty or interesting movie to look at. It is so gray and dark in every scene for no reason. Even during the daytime scenes, everything is so drab and dull. It's like this movie's trying so hard to be like a DCU movie. When I mean DCEU movie, not DCU, DCEU movie from the, you know, Man of Steel, Batman v Superman days. It is so unnecessarily dark for no reason. And this obviously contributes to the tone of the movie, where the movie takes itself way too seriously at times. When like you're a Ben 10 product, taking yourself seriously should not be the top priority you're going for. That's not to say Ben 10 should be goofy all the time, but like acting like you're this gritty drama is not it. And yeah, that's one of my main gripes against this movie, is that it's trying so hard to be dark and serious, and it just comes off looking dull and ugly and boring. I should not look at a Ben 10 product and say this is dull and ugly and boring. That just should not happen. Where are the colors? Where's the green? At the very least, where the frick is the green? So yeah, very ugly movie to look at. And it's well that this movie is directed by the same guy who directed Race Against Time, because even Race Against Time had a bit more color in it. Not an impressive amount, but a bit more. With that said, I do appreciate the show accurate suits. I do like the Gwen is in her blue jacket, white shirt, Kevin's in his black shirt, Ben is in his green jacket. I think the show accurate outfits are pretty cool. So at the very least, they tried what they could. 4 out of 10, a very mediocre movie. Coming in at number 4, we have the first live-action Ben 10 movie, and that is Race Against Time. Before I even begin to talk about this movie, I just wanna look back at our theme song and enjoy my childhood for just a little bit. Oof, that song alone is just a straight shot of nostalgia adrenaline straight into the veins. Like, oof, that's enough to get me like on board. With that said, like once the nostalgia wave washes over, yeah, this is not a good movie. Again, it runs into a problem of like, why are we making Ben 10 live action? Apparently there was a rumored Ben 10 live action movie that was supposed to come out last year, but it got cancelled because Warner Brothers is Warner Brothers, and I'm honestly kind of glad the movie wasn't made, mainly because again, these two are what it would be following up. Obviously the actual movie would have a higher budget and the aliens would look good, but like even taking that aside, the aliens here again, like even taking out the ugly aliens, because yes, the aliens just look very ugly in this show. Look at Grey Matter for one. Like, yeah, he's well animated for the time, but it's very clear he was also made with a $2 budget. I think the only alien who actually really looks good in live action is Diamond Head, but even then, that's very clearly just an animated CG character standing in the room. Like, it is very obvious he is fake. Yeah, the action is nothing pretty to look at. I promise you this footage is not edited. They literally just shoot the same scene over and over like this. Kaboom, kaboom, kaboom. He's blocking the same shot over and over. This is, wow, peak filmmaking right here. But yeah, even taking out the ugly aliens, this movie just kind of doesn't work. It kind of has a couple of plot holes in it that just, again, do not work. There's one scene where Eon and his goons attack the plumbers in the base, and Ben just kind of runs home, and like almost goes to bed, forgetting that he left his grandpa and cousin down to fight a crazy evil alien guy. He doesn't even go back to help. Kind of wild, honestly. Yeah, but it's kind of like Alien Storm, where it's like a couple of weird things happen. But Alien Storm like at least has enough going on. It's like he can stretch your believability. This movie just doesn't have that. With that said, it does have a few things over Alien Swarm that I do think are a lot better. For one, this movie actually has color in it. You know, a lot of scenes do feel a bit monochromatic. Like a few scenes like this one feel a bit too purple. We have a few scenes in the city are a bit too orange, but at least there is color. There's things for me to look at. I also did like seeing Ben's life at school or post-summer vacation. A few of the original Ben 10 episodes did dabble into this, but they didn't go all the way because the main, appeal of the show is that it's a kid on summer vacation with his grandpa and cousin. But in this movie, we do get to see what Ben's life at school is like. And, despite being a hero, he's still kind of a loser, which is so funny that he's so bratty and like proud of himself when he's literally being bullied at school for everything. With that said, again, I do enjoy seeing his school life, and I do enjoy seeing this kid trying to just like balance the homework, keeping a secret identity thing. It's very cliche, but for Ben 10, it's a novel thing because that's not what the series is about. It's about the fun of being a hero, not the drawbacks. I've said it before and I'll say it again, I do like the Grandpa Max in this movie. I think this is probably the best casting we could get for Grandpa Max in live action. He looks the part, he sounds the part, he acts the part. He is Grandpa Max in live action, and I really like what they did with him in this movie. Not so much in Alien Swarm, but this movie definitely. I'm not a huge fan of Gwen's actress though. I'm pausing it just so you can get a clear look at her, but I absolutely hate Gwen's actress. This chick cannot act. I know she's a kid. I know I'm bullying this chick just so unnecessary, but like, my god, it is wild. Like, you'll have one good scene with Grandpa Max, and then you have Gwen who shows up and like, she can't even read a script, dog. How did you even get cast for this? Was there really no other like 12-year-old girl they could get into this movie and like give some good direction to? Because she's fumbling hard. Ben isn't even so bad himself. Like, Ben actually acts like Ben. Like, the kid can act. For some reason, it's just Gwen who can act. Like, I don't know why they cast this chick. Is it because she just kind of looks like her show counterpart? It's wild. But yeah, Grandpa Max is good. I really appreciate him. But Gwen drags down every scene she's in. It's not even because her acting is like atrociously bad. It's just noticeably worse than the other characters, especially her, the guy Ben, the actor for Ben, who she's supposed to be bouncing off of. It's just so plastic. It's honestly hilarious because there is one scene where Gwen confronts Ben and she gives him the big "I love you" speech to bring him back from being evil, and it's like, again, just so fake and empty. Speaking of plastic though, there is one scene where Ben turns into Wildmutt and uses Gwen as a bat to beat Eon, and honestly, that scene is everything to me. Probably saves the movie in its entirety. Oh yeah, speaking of Eon's an alright villain, I guess. I do like his show counterpart more. I do like what Ultimate Alien and Omniverse did with him more. So I'm glad this one isn't canon anymore. But I think he was an alright villain. As a kid, when I watched this movie, he actually terrified me, especially the scene where he transforms Ben into himself. But like, looking back, this man is just kind of goofy. And I understand the memes now of like, yes, my favorite alien, British man. Because like, what the hell? They're literally an alien just being man. And that sends me every time. So yeah, I do prefer Race Against Time. It's a bit more absurd, a bit more funny, both intentionally and unintentionally, and I do think that overall it's a more fun film than Alien Storm, which is why I come to watch Ben 10 for. Just some good old alien fun at the end of the day. Nothing that tries to take itself too seriously, especially like Zack Snyder DC, which is why I fully understand now why people say the UAF era, the Ultimate Alien era, was just Zack Snyder in Ben 10. So yeah, another 4 out of 10, nothing special, but a good 4 out of 10. Still a mediocre movie in general. Coming in at number 3, and this is a huge jump in quality, we have Ben 10 vs. the Universe. This is a reboot movie. Now, to give some clarification, I have not watched the reboot. I have actually made it my mission to not engage with the reboot, and that is mostly because I am not interested. My interest in Ben 10 died after the main continuity ended, that main continuity being Ben 10 Omniverse. I never really bothered to watch the stuff that came afterward, and honestly, again, this stuff just doesn't appeal to me. I do not like the designs of the characters. I'm not a huge fan of the new art style in animation. animation, and I mean, yeah, so it wasn't for me, and decided to leave it. Instead of becoming a grifter and hating on this show and making a career out of it, I just said, I'm gonna leave, let sleeping dogs lie, and I chose where I wanted to live in the Ben 10 era, and I stuck to it. I saw it and it had a good ending, and I left it. And honestly, I wish a lot more people would do that for franchises they claim to love. You guys don't need to stick around and complain about Marvel post Endgame. You can stop after Endgame, and that's why I decided to stop. I stopped after Omniverse, and I saw no interest to continue forward. However, for the sake of this list, I did decide to subject myself to the Ben 10 versus the Universe movie, and honestly, it's pretty damn good. I doubt the actual TV show is good, or at the very least is as good, but this movie, for what it's worth, is really good. It has a lot of strong elements I simply can't deny, like Vilgax. Like, I have my issues with Vilgax in this movie, but mainly, yeah, this is a threatening Vilgax. This is a Vilgax who doesn't do any jokes, who's not treated like a joke, who very much is all nonsense and no talking, or, you know, how should I say, he's more of a threat, right? This is a villain, this is a Vilgax who loves to aura farm more than anything. Like, he has his freaking tentacles that he uses in every fight, which is something we never saw in the original show. He has laser eyes, again, something we didn't see in the original show until he stole someone's powers, and he's now just like this basic galactic criminal instead of a planet conqueror. He still does hate Ben, he still does run the Omnitrix, he still does all the basic stuff you know Vilgax for, but this guy is way more threatening than like Ultimate Alien or Omniverse Vilgax. This is a Vilgax who wants to aura farm and really wants to kill this child. Speaking of Vilgax, I also did enjoy Kevin in this movie, because you know, in case you haven't watched the movie, Kevin is not really a villain in this movie. It seems like he is a villain in the show, or at the very least a sort of anti-hero kind of guy who butts heads with Ben over every now and again, but in this movie, he's very clearly not a villain. He's now siding with the heroes to fight Vilgax, and then, you know, dips to do his own thing. So again, very much an anti-hero type character. But I also like how Kevin was done in this movie. I like how he's really trying to be his own hero and trying to figure out his place in the world, because it's very clear he's alone, and Grandpa Max offers him a home, but he refuses because, again, no one's ever stuck out for him as much, and he very clearly is in desperate need of a father figure. So I thought that was very interesting. One thing I just don't get, though, is why Vilgax would tell Kevin to build an anti-Trix, like why he put it in Kevin's mind. Like, what did he expect from that? And if he can put the idea in Kevin's mind, why can't he build it himself? I don't know, that whole scenario just read to me like this meme.
Source? It was revealed to me in a dream.
I mean, long and short, that's just kind of all I got out of it. It was fun, but it didn't make a lot of sense to me. With that said, I'm also not the biggest fan of like the spacesuit / battlesuit designs of the aliens. I don't know. I know it's for toys. Okay, like let me just preface this. I know they did this for toys. I know to Cartoon Network, the most important thing at the end of the day is toys. That's why Ninjago succeeded, and that's why Ben 10 succeeded. But I seriously do not know what the purpose of these alien battlesuits are. It's not even like they make the aliens more powerful. Like, it's just, oh, Ben's in space for most of this movie. Give him a spacesuit alien. So here we get one for Jet Ray. And we get one for Humongous later. And if I'm not wrong, these are like the only two aliens to even get the space battle suits. So like, again, why is this even a thing? Yes, I know the answer is toys and money, but like story-wise, they barely even play a part in the story. And they aren't even good to look at. Jet Rays maybe I can accept. Humongous is just silly. With that said, I do appreciate that this movie is an odyssey. The plot of the movie is that Ben gets separated from home and he needs to rush back and stop Vilgax before he takes over the world. Very simple premise, and honestly a very normal story for Ben 10 story. A very formulaic story for Ben 10 story. But the thing is, I really like the execution here. Not only is it that Ben needs to get back home, it's treated like an odyssey. Ben is the only one who can stop Vilgax. He's the only one with the powers and the skills to stop Vilgax, and he needs to get home before it's too late. I do love the subtle desperation in this movie, and I think it even works better than in Secret of the Omnitrix at times. I do wish though that since the movie is called Ben 10 versus the Universe, we do get to see him interacting with alien species. As such, the only antagonistic alien species he comes across are the incursions. Everyone else is in the null void, as in already criminals. So I do wish we got to see him interact with more alien civilizations. But then again, that's not to say the null void is bad. I do love how it basically is just a white, weird, celestial, trippy room where logic just kind of doesn't exist and everything is out trying to kill you from not just the aliens but to the terrain itself. I really do like this null void, and dare I say it, I think it's even better than the original series null void. Like, this is how you do a reboot right, taking the stuff that worked from the previous series or the stuff that didn't work as well and adding a new spin to it that improves it for the story you want to tell. With that said, this movie is also the one that introduces Azimuth, and it's very clear that this movie is taking inspiration from Secret of the Omnitrix, because it kind of is. This movie is just Secret of the Omnitrix mixed in with a bit of its own flavor from other movies. But I really enjoyed the reboot movie, and I think it actually works as a movie. The desperation of the story, Ben's character growth, because yes, Ben does grow. He is put through the ringer in trying to get back home, and the threats we see in the movie. Obviously, the final battle is a bit, we've been there, done that with Vilgax versus Waybig, but I can't deny that this is a classic Ben 10 story, and it's just a lot of fun for what it is. 7 out of 10, I am very impressed by your reboot. I'm still not watching the show. Coming in at number 2, we have Ben 10 Secret of the Omnitrix. This is the first ever Ben 10 movie we've gotten, and I think it was supposed to serve as a sort of series finale to the show at the time. And yeah, it's good. It's really good. I know I'm gonna get a lot of hate for putting this in number 2, because for a lot of Ben 10 fans, this is their number 1 de facto best Ben 10 movie ever. But I do have my couple of issues with it. With that said, let's talk about the good stuff first, because there's a lot of good stuff here. For one, the the art style. I really love the art style of this movie. I honestly forgot how much I missed and enjoyed the original art style of, well, the original Ben 10 show. It really does feel like a comic book come to life. Like the way things are drawn, the subtle shading, the little dots on screen, like all of this just feels, again, like a comic book come to life. And it reminds me of the days where I would actually go to my way to buy Ben 10 comics. Even though those comics were already episodes in the TV show, I would buy the comics just to see what the characters look like standing still. And it's honestly really great. The plot of the movie is about Ben looking for the creator of the Omnitrix, Azimuth, so he can stop it from blowing up the universe. And let me just say, I really love what they did with Azimuth in this movie. The subversion of his character is just amazing. Most people expect like a wise old mentor or somebody who's like deeply troubled by his past. And we do kind of get that here, but the way they handle Azimuth is honestly just, again, kind of perfect. The Azimuth we see in this movie has gone full nihilist. He's not even like trying to hide away like Luke Skywalker. He's straight up saying, let the universe blow up. I don't care. I made a mistake and I want everyone to pay for it. They're all gonna feel my mistake. And again, it's like, damn, Azimuth, damn, this guy has attitude. And I think a lot of that has to do with his voice. I forgot who voiced Azimuth in this movie. Give me a second, let me just look it up. Sorry, Robert David Hall, that's his name. And yeah, I think that has to do with the voice. He sounds like just a regular guy who works a 9-to-5 job and is done. He doesn't sound like an old wizard. He doesn't sound like some cosmic alien being who's been around for thousands of millions of years. He just sounds like a guy who's so done with life. And I just love that. The subversion they did with him is freaking amazing. And of course, this was the movie that gave us Waybig, and honestly, one of the cooler Ben 10 finales. Not as exciting as I do remember it, but it was definitely a huge satisfying narrative payoff. With that said, I do have a couple of gripes with this movie. One of them being Ben's characterization. Ben is way too bratty in this movie. He is way more bratty than I remember him being in the original series. I haven't seen the original series episodes in a while, so maybe he is just that annoying. But my goodness, I do not remember him being this annoying and entitled. And he is so, cocky and impulsive, which is, fair enough for a 10-year-old. But like, again, he's just so in everyone's face about their business. It's like, dog, chill a bit, you're about to die, like relax. And I like that that's actually a plot point in the movie, that Tetrax doesn't even tell Ben the Omnitrix will explode the whole universe. It will only explode him, and therefore that's why he'll fix it, because he sees Ben as being such a narcissist. He doesn't care if everyone else will die. And I really do like that. I do like that they mention that Ben's only a hero because of the thrill of the game and not for helping people, but they don't explore it enough. It's an interesting idea, but it's not explored nearly well enough or executed as well as it should be. And that ties into Gwen, in my opinion, because there's a point in the movie where Gwen is captured and is nearly killed, but Ben thinks she's dead. And again, they don't really sit on this for as long as they should. Ben is upset and he does confront Azimuth about it, but he's not nearly upset about it as he should. Nor is he eating the humble pie he should. He is humbled for a bit, but no, it's just like way too late into the movie. Like we're almost at the end, like what 15 minutes from the credits? But like again, the journey doesn't feel like it's earned. Ben doesn't feel like he earns the Omnitrix back at the end. It feels like he gets it back because the movie's running out of runtime. I don't know, I just wish Ben had a more fulfilling arc in this movie, or more satisfying arc in this movie, similar to him versus the universe or in Destroy All Aliens. Here it just feels like we're just kind of going through the motions and the bullet points, and I think that's my biggest issue with this movie, is that it doesn't give enough time to characterize Ben properly, or at the very least to go as in depth as they should have, because he's characterized well properly. There is a scene where he's fighting Vilgax in his human form, and he is witty enough to throw Vilgax out the airlock when his back is to the wall. So there is clearly stuff to work with here. It's just, again, when it comes to the main central conflict of the movie, I don't think they handled it as well as they could. However, because we don't want to end on a negative, let's end on a positive, and that is my ex. My ex, bro, why is she such a baddie? My ex is such a baddie for no reason. Like, damn hips, good lord. I think my ex was a lot of people's awakening to realize, oh wait, maybe not all members of Vilgax species are bad. Like, I think Max alone single-handedly solved racism. It solved alien racism in a fictional show. So take that what you will. Anyway, my ex, you're a baddie, you're a hottie. Call me when you're available. And yeah, I think she saves this movie. 7 out of 10 just for my ex alone. And at the number 1 spot, we have last and definitely not least, Ben 10 Destroy All Aliens. I have so many memories with this movie. It is unreal. I know I'm gonna get some flack for this, but I genuinely love this movie with all my heart. I'm not fully sold on the 3D aspect of this movie. I don't know why they went CG with it instead of 2D when they went to 2D with the other 2 movies, but that's not to say it's bad. Honestly, for a CG Cartoon Network movie, this looks really good. Like, look what they're doing with Upgrade. He looks extra shiny and extra slimy, like. But yeah, onto the quality of the movie. This movie is my favorite Ben 10 movie for like so many freaking reasons. Not only is it the most dynamic movie, which I think is, again, due in part to the CG animation, but it's also the funniest movie. This movie has a lot of funny gags in it, which I'll explain on in a bit as well. And it's also the one that gives Ben a full arc. So I think let's just start there. This movie does give Ben a full arc, better than in Secret of the Omnitrix, mind you. So okay, let me just start at the beginning. Let me just start at the beginning before I even talk about Ben's arc. Let's just give you a quick refresher. This movie is meant to serve as a sequel to Secret of the Omnitrix. However, it wasn't made directly after Secret of the Omnitrix. Secret of the Omnitrix came out in like 2007, while this movie came out in 2012. So this movie came out while Omniverse was airing, and you can really tell there's a lot of hindsight in this movie, a lot of like, I want to say world building, like background world. The fight at the end of the movie in Bellwood is the fight that leads to Undertown being created in Omniverse. So it's very clearly some world building that's going on there. They also mention, other things like Gwen's magic. Gwen's magic is very much pink in this movie, when we know in the timeline, at the very least, when she used magic, it was blue. So they're very clearly trying to also tie into Ultimate Alien and Alien Force. With that said, how does Ben's character arc tie into this? Well, in this movie, Ben has to obviously learn responsibility. He has to learn to clean up his own messes and to not act impulsively, which I think this movie does really well. It shows Ben finally doing his own homework for once, and it does show him actually apologizing for his mistakes. He's never apologized in any of these movies. He didn't apologize in Secret of the Omnitrix, at least as far as I remember, and he didn't apologize in in Ben 10 vs. the Universe. He does get himself humble and does admit he was wrong, but in this movie he does fully apologize for his actions. He's still arrogant and annoying, much like Ben is, but it's very clear he's learned his lesson and is growing as a character, which is what we love to see in this kid. This movie also lends itself well to some really awesome action scenes. I've said it once, I'll say it again, but I really do think that this Ben 10 movie is some of the best Ben 10 action we've gotten from the franchise in general. And I think, again, that's mainly due to the dynamics and the action and the animation, as I said before. While the 3D animation does take some getting used to, especially for long-time Ben 10 fans, you cannot deny that it's because of this 3D animation that we get all these movements and fight scenes and quick fight scenes. I mean, this scene of Ben holding back the missiles and redirecting them to throw them back at Asmith's dad lives rent-free in my mind forever. This is so freaking cool. Speaking of Asmith's dad, he is probably one of my favorite Ben 10 villains ever. Not because he's complex, not because he has a lot of depth in him, not even because he's necessarily threatening, but because he's so damn funny. Oh my god. Like, I enjoyed him as a kid mainly because of his abilities and what Upgrade can do, but as an adult watching this movie, this guy is so ridiculously hilarious. I love him. The way he's so passionately angry over every little thing just kills me and has me cackling on the floor. And I know they say it's because of the galvanic mechamorph suit, that's what enhances his emotions, but like, bro does not give anyone a minute to speak before going in guns blazing. He's the definition of shoot first, ask questions later, except he keeps forgetting if he kills people, they're not gonna ask questions later. Bro is so overcome by emotion, he's killing his son at the end of the movie, and even after he's told it's azimuth, he still goes out of his way to kill him. This scene right here, for example, is one of the very few times where he actually listens before he shoots.
I don't want to shoot you.
Then give her a chance to prove that's azimuth.
And even when he's proven wrong, he's still so passionately mad about everything. Like, how can you not love this guy?
Devoured my son, so you were telling the truth.
I've been telling the truth the whole time. Well, except to you. But I apologize.
Azimuth, please. It's not his fault. Don't make me hurt him.
It's the delivery of the lines, dog. I can't take this man seriously.
So you do know where he is. Talk.
I don't know. I was fighting him and he just sort of disappeared.
So co-stars don't just disappear.
So yeah, all things considered, I really enjoyed Ben 10 Destroy All Aliens the most. It's the funniest, it has the best action, and it has the most complete arc for Ben to go on, while still retaining the qualities we love to see in this kid. And at the end of the day, I do think it's an 8 out of 10 movie. It really is just that great, especially by Ben 10 movie standards. So yeah, there we have it, ladies and gentlemen. Every Ben 10 movie ranked from worst to best. Looking back, it's kind of crazy that we didn't get a movie based on the Omniverse era. We got 3 based in the original era, 1 for Alien Force, which can be grouped with Ultimate Alien since Ultimate continues Alien Swarm storyline, and 1 for Reboot, but absolutely nothing for Omniverse, who was left out in the cold. Pretty wild if you think about it. I wonder if Cartoon Network could consider walking back to Omniverse to see if there's anything they could squeeze out of it. Ah well. Anyway guys, tell me, what did you think of this ranking? Is my taste garbage as always? What would you change? And what are you doing for Ben 10's second decade? Let me know all your thoughts and more down in the comments below, and don't forget to check out Slayer Brother when you have the chance. Before I clock out, I do want to make an announcement of sorts. As you guys know, every year I make a video where I rank all the animated films I saw from worst to best, along with a meme recap later on. Well, I don't think I'll be able to deliver on those this month. Don't worry, we'll still get to them, but they might have to be delayed. I won't be available for the last 2 weeks of December, and I will officially be AWOL once this video goes up. In fact, this video you're watching was pre-recorded a week in advance just to get to the anniversary date. So, the plan for now is that once I come back, I'll do the animation video, then I'll see if I can find time to do the meme video later on in the month. The fate of the ranking live streams though is unknown to me right now. Depending on how next month goes, I'll either do the live streams or we might never see them again. Again, hope for the best, but also prepare for the worst. With that said, thank you so very much for watching, guys. Be sure to like if you like, subscribe if you haven't already, hit the notification bell to be part of the team, and happy 20th anniversary, Ben 10. It was nice to remember you. And with that, I will see you all in another universe. Goodbye, my Rangers.